Hello, it's Giant Tank 1400, and this is a character discussion of Chuckie Finster from All Grown Up. So Chuckie's a very well-developed character in All Grown Up. Next to like Angelica and to a lesser extent Tommy, he's like the most developed character, if you will. He's got a lot of like things going on for him throughout the whole series. The first thing that comes up is really Chuckie's love life, and that's really it's focused on season 1, but we get a little bit here and there, as a side plot as the story goes on. And in Chuckie's love life, he also has this conflict with his best friend Tommy, and it makes sense because Tommy's his best friend. He spends a lot of his time. But when someone becomes like interested in someone else in a romantic way, they kind of at first they really don't know how to like balance that with their friends. So it does make sense. And we'll talk a little bit about that, like Chuckie's friendship with Tommy as we go along here. The first episode that really highlights it is Chuckie in Love, and in this episode, Chuckie basically has a crush on this girl named Nicole. She doesn't really play an important part of the series after season 1, unfortunately. However, in this episode she does, and Chuckie doesn't think Nicole's gonna like him, so he makes up this like Chongo impression and basically kind of acts like he acts like a douche really to his friends, to Tommy and Phil. And basically, what ends up happening is Chuckie does find out that Nicole likes him for Chuckie, not just his made up character, his made up alias, if you will, Chongo. So everything turns out good. Chuckie does get in trouble, but the next one it's Cupid Stupid, and in that one, basically, all the characters are falling for characters not supposed to, because Cupid his aim's not properly, and basically Nicole falls for Tommy, and that creates a rift between Tommy and Chuckie, but they end up really reuniting their friendship, and Chuckie finally understands that it wasn't Tommy, it was really Nicole, but everything turns out in the end. The other episodes that kind of deal with Chuckie's love life are We Having Fun Yet, where Chuckie wants to have his first kiss by a girl, because Tommy already got his first kiss by Rachel, sorry. And then Rachel also, Tommy's really, at this point, not really, because an episode later, earlier, Fear of Falling, they don't really have that like, oh, they're hanging out with this girl or whatever, and it's coming between our friendship. They don't really have that anymore. Basically, Tommy's hanging out with Rachel, but Chuckie really wants to get a girl himself, and he tries all these different things. Both Are We Having Fun Yet and Rachel have him talking to Phil about really kind of how to help him out to get a girl. So Phil is kind of like his wingman in both of those episodes, which is definitely interesting. We don't really get to see that much interaction between Chuckie and Phil, but in those episodes we do. The next part of Chuckie is kind of something I already mentioned a little bit already, but that's Chuckie's like friendship with Tommy. And that can be really seen in Fear of Falling, Curse of Reptar, and TP plus KF. A common thing all these episodes have is that they create a conflict between Tommy and Chuckie. And the conflict is resolved at the end, and their friendship grows. I'm not going to get into the details of each one. If you want to see the details, you can check my episode reviews. However, these episodes do highlight Chuckie's friendship with Tommy very well, and there's more episodes where Tommy is seen to give Chuckie support, and Chuckie's seen to give Tommy support, and a lot of the respective episodes like that focus on them, if you will. So they do really have a good friendship. These are just the episodes that kind of strain that friendship and then make it stronger as well. So the next thing is like Chucky's friendship with Kimi. Now these can be seen in very Kimi-centric episodes. Minyar of a Finster, Trading Places, Betention this. Minyar of a Finster is really Kimi realizing she is a Finster, but she's also not a real Finster. She's more embracing her Japanese side, and that creates like tension between Chuckie and Kimi. You know, Chuckie at first is supporting her, but he has his breaking point, if you will. Trading Places, it's seen that it's stated many times that Kimi goes to Chuckie for advice, and if anything's bothering her. In this case, it's not the case, but it's stated many times for whatever reason. However, Chuckie thinks it's her room and redesigns her room, and at the end, Chuckie actually gives Kimi some really good advice about how to deal with their parents having like a new kid, if you will, because that's what happened to him when Kimi entered his life. So that was really touching moment there. In Betention this, Kimi and Chuckie are seen at opposite sides. Really, Angelica and Susie are to blame for it, and basically they put that stuff aside and grow in their friendship with each other. So all 3 episodes are great episodes, and I recommend all of them. So this next section is like Chuckie's like skills / leadership. This is like kind of the core of Chuckie's character throughout the series, as we get to see him develop like as a leader and developing skills and stuff. For the first time we get to really see this is Interview with a Campfire. In that, Chuckie has like these detective skills that allow them to solve the case of where their missing parents went to. It was really good. Really good to see Chuckie in that kind of almost leadership role. We also see in Project Chuckie that basically Chuckie realizes could be cool, but he's fine with not being cool. He's fine with just being himself, which is a very important lesson. In Fear of Falling, he actually decides to conquer his fear of heights, like without Tommy. Like he's forced to do it without Tommy, but then Tommy's there to help him. He's like, no, I have to do this myself. And Chuckie's end up being the one to save Tommy. So it was really good character development on Chuckie's part on there. Now there's also Rat Traps and Superhero Worship, which are similar in a lot of ways, both of which Chuckie takes up a leadership role. In Superhero Worship, he's struggling, he's going through something. Not so much in Rat Traps, but both of them have him take up that leadership role to accomplish something big. In Rat Traps, he ends up coming up with the plan and taking up the leadership role to capture the criminals. In Superhero Worship, he just actually is able to handle the ferocious rat that Tommy has. So both were really key, and I really like to see Chuckie in that leadership role. It's not something we get to see him that often, but I'm glad to develop him in that way. So it was really good, really good to see him like that. A few more instances of like Chuckie's character is like when he really struggles with something. We get to see in The Finster Who Stole Christmas and You Gotta Go. In The Finster Who Stole Christmas, he accidentally stole a Christmas tree, but he ends up returning it. So it was just like it was I thought it was really well done, especially for one of the earlier episodes. I really liked it. And in You Gotta Go, he really gets obsessed with You Gotta Go cards. So, but because of his friends, Tommy in particular, he ends up dealing with. He ends up losing. He ends up giving out the You Gotta Go card. So it was really good to see like Chuckie like struggle, like have those weaknesses, but not necessarily completely overcome them, but overcome them enough where he can actually deal with them. Overall, Chuckie is a great character and way more developed than Kimi. Like Kimi was like when I did Kimi Finster in the last character discussion, it was like, oh, she had like 3 episodes. and some things here and there. This one was a little more, I had to really focus on his main episodes instead of like some side plots and some of his character development there. Overall, I think his character went good. He really, the main thing, like his character changed from like not being a leader to kind of being a leader, if you will, being a capable leader. As before in his life, Kimi or Tommy would take up that leadership role. However, here and All Grown Up, we see that a few times that Chucky's actually able to take up that leadership role. So I really like that. Now, where I think Chucky's gonna end up, where I want him to end up, I kind of really see him really getting those skills that he gained in an interview with a campfire, even though it was really only mentioned that once, of his detective skills. It would be nice to see him like as a detective, kind of just working at the Java Lava for a while, like and basically maybe he's graduated, he doesn't exactly know what he's gonna do with his life, but then like something happens, and I really like him and like Lil together. So maybe something happens and him and Lil kind of solve a mystery. It's sort of like Scooby-Doo, if you will, but like more like towards the detective side of that show, and not so much of, oh, a character's gonna dress up as a monster. No, but I kind of like see them developing a partnership of a crime detective thing. I mean, Lil's like really organized, really good at that stuff, and I'll talk more about her character when I get to it. However, Chucky really has that like leadership capability, and he has a detective capability to do it. I mean, he's scared all the time. Well, not all the time, but he knows how to deal with his fears, as shown in Fear of Falling and some other episodes. So, and he also in Rat Traps, he actually was able to capture real live crooks who were gonna steal from the mall. So he has like that experience, if you will, as well. And I kind of really see him in that detective role. Anyway, thanks for watching the character discussion. Kind of posting your comments what you think of Chucky and maybe where you think he's gonna end up. For me, Chucky was a great character. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the character discussion. See you in the next one. Bye.